Good evening, everyone. Those who are listening us live, and to all those who will be listening us later on YouTube. In our outreach series today, the webinar topic is Lunar Science and Overview. And to talk about this topic, we are blessed to have Dr. Henal Bhatt ma'am, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce her to you all. She has a Ph.D. in Planetary Geology from Gujarat University in collaboration with ISRO. She has an M.Sc in Geology from MG Science Institute, again from Gujarat University. She has worked as Senior Research Fellow in announcement of Chandrayaan 1 mission project and also was a group member for Chandrayaan 2. She is also a former member of European Planetary Society and has been part of various national and international conferences. A warm welcome, ma'am, and I hand you the baton. You can go ahead and start with the presentation.
Thank you, Ruchira and the AstroCapsule for inviting me to present in this webinar. Um, I have did my PhD, as Ruchira explained, on Moon in collaboration with ISRO and Gujarat University. And I studied basically geology of the moon using all the contemporary satellite data sets. So here I would like to introduce you about basics of the moon, how it was formed, how it got evolved with time, and some parts of my work I would be like to present here. So what is the difference between Earth and Moon? Uh, the major difference you can see in the diameter. Earth have a 12,700 kilometer diameter, while Moon having 3,476 kilometer diameter. Earth axis is tilted on 23-degree, while Moon is tilted only up to 7-degree. Surface temperature on Earth varies from -73 to 48 centigrade, while on Moon it varies on a major scale from minus 107 to 153 degrees centigrade. Earth have thick atmosphere while Moon have no atmosphere. Earth have plenty amount of liquid water while Moon have no liquid water except ice at its poles in the permanently shadowed region.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am.
Yeah.
We cannot see the slides moving. I mean, they are not in the presentation mode.
Can you see the whole slide now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
It's moving now, no?
Yes.
Slides are okay. So there are major four hypotheses has been proposed up to now for the origin and evolution of moon. There are fission, co-accretion, capture, and giant impact hypothesis. But the most widely accepted hypothesis is giant impact hypothesis that we will see in a schematic in the next slide. So this picture explains the giant impact hypothesis. What happened in that Mars-sized body called Theia was collided with a young Earth or the early stage of formation of the Earth. So many debris came out of the Earth and it started rotating around the Earth. So debris got accumulated and get more and more concreted and with the time passed it differentiated the interior of the moon and solidified the outer layer of the moon. And in the last image you can see there are basin and lava flooded to form the Maria. So there was a period in the lunar geological history where heavy impactor or heavy impactors were continuously bombarded for the longest period of time on the surface. So surface got ruptured and the lava were formed or came out from beneath the surface and it formed major basins or black patches that we can see with our naked eyes on the moon surface. So we will see a simulation, a recent simulation presented by NASA on this collision of the Theia to the Earth, and the second video will show that how moon got evolved with time. So these all the things were happened, like origin and evolution of the moon between 4.5 to recent time. This has been shown in this geological time scale of the moon. See, it is divided into major five divisions: pre-nectarian period, nectarian, Imbrian period, Eratosthenian, and Copernican period. So, crater, as you saw in the video, cratering process were very heavy in the early stage of the its formation, and with time it got seized. Like in the Copernican period, you can see it is very negligible, or it is very dormant now. So, mare basalts were formed between Imbrium to Eratosthenian period, between 3.85 to nearly 2 billion years ago. Uh, Lunar have majorly three interior structure, like crust, mantle, and core. And moon is discriminated in the two parts. Majorly, one is near side and other is far side. So near side, this is the near side, and it has many basins or mare volcanism present on it, that we can see with the black patches here. And the far side have very less such kind of activity. There are, it is completely heavily cratered, but far side crust is comparatively thicker, nearly 60 kilometer. thicker, and the near side crust is comparatively thinner. This is the difference between major two superficial structure of the moon or feature of the moon, that is mare area. Left one is, and right one is highland area. So mare area is basically a basaltic pool that you saw, like when bombardment occurs or very heavy impactor or very large size impactor got impacted on the surface, the lava comes out from the surface and it makes a pond like structure, or with time it gets solidified and makes these basalt igneous, mostly igneous rock, basaltic mare region. So they are flat plains on the moon, and the other are highland regions. There are pristine crust, I would say. So these are the number of craters present on the moon surface, and this is crater formation mechanism. Basically complex crater formation mechanism is here, that shows like how if impactor got impacted, then melt and vapor came out, and then central part of the bowl shaped structure got uplifted, and it will make a central peak crater. And the right graph shows that how cratering formation or impact crater rate has ceased with time. These are the type of the crater present on the moon, like simple crater, complex crater, and basin. Simple crater are very small, simple bowl-shaped crater, whom which diameter varies variation shows is 15 to 20 kilometer. Complex crater diameter varies from also 50 to 20 kilometers, but it shows granulated rims and different zones and slumping and uplifted central peak through it. And third one is basin. These are the very large structure, and basins are also divided into three parts: central peak basin, peak ring basin, and multi-ring basin. It shows also very different structure, like central peak shows a peak in the central part with granulated rim part, and diameter varies from 147 kilometer to 175 kilometer. These are sometimes called small basins, and peak ring basins varies in diameter from 175 to 450 kilometer, and it has a very well developed ring, but it lacks the central peak. And the third one is multi-ring basin, that is more than 400-kilometer diameter, or Rajesh basin, and with many concentric rings. These are some other features, geological and very good features present on the moon. That is called sinus relay, that we call lava tubes on Earth. See, these are the granulated snake-like structure. It is the lava tube, and it is useful. It is very huge structure actually, and it may be very useful in the future human missions, or when it comes to make a base on the moon. So it may shield the astronauts or some structures from very heavy radiation coming directly to the surface. So these are the one of the important features. These are the fault planes present on the surface: wrinkle ridges, pits, and faults and relays are here: Rima Cauchy and Rupees Cauchy. These are the lunar missions. Name of the lunar missions has been launched worldwide up to the time. This is the timeline showing different kind of missions, like lander or impactor missions, orbiter missions, and flight test and flyby missions. So this is starting from 1959 to 1972. So there were major Apollo landing missions are covered in this era between 1969 to 1972, which was aimed to send man on the moon and taking back some samples. So it uh, all in all, that missions took around 386 kg of lunar samples on the Earth, and it really created a big difference in our understanding of the moon or its current or its history. That we like it really opened many windows of our understanding to about our nearest neighbor, moon. This is a next timeline starting from 1973 to 2003. The another is from 2007 to 2020 recent missions, and I used many of data from these missions like Chandrayaan 1, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and JAXA Selene mission. So these are the Apollo and other landing missions. So it took back some samples that we NASA has analyzed, and here we can see the samples and its microscopic structure, majorly ferron anorthosite, which is present in the highland area, and mare basalt that is present in the black patches area. So this is a Chandrayaan 1 mission spacecraft with 11 payloads. This is a hyperspectral imager. It is a very advanced high resolution data sets with many information present within the data that gives many clues about the minerals or elements present on the surface. So I used in my thesis majorly uh, this instrument data. These are the all other data sets from Moon Meteorology Mapper Chandrayaan 1 mission, Hyperspectral Imager Chandrayaan 1 mission, Multiband Imager Selene Kaguya, LRO Wake and NAC from LRO missions from NASA, and Lunar Orbiter Laser Altimeter Lola from LRO mission, and TMC from Chandrayaan 1 mission. These are the data sets that I used in my study. So majorly I studied 5 study area of the moon. This is the Mare Tranquillitatis, where uh, the first human, Neil Armstrong, was put his feet. First human landing mission was occurred in this area, and I analyzed this area based on mineralogy, composition, structure, and geological evolution. So this map shows basically mineralogical difference present in this area. The yellowish part shows basaltic region, and the bluish part shows anorthositic highland crust. Um, this map shows different kind of basaltic units that I delineated using some age criteria and some color coding variation. Well, when I used some IBD analysis or algorithm, I found some of the uh, very good mineralogical differences in this area. So yellowish part marked are IMP. They are irregular mare patches or recent volcanism traces present in this area that I marked with yellow squares. And the color coding of the whole area shows topographic difference, topographic like how the area is low lying or elevated in the different special region. So as you saw in that video, like basins are formed in like bowl shaped. So you can see any kind of pond is shows very good depth in central part, and the depth got decreases when you go to the rim part. But this area doesn't shows that bowl shape because it has a volcano present in it in the right part that you can see with the magneta circle, which is known as Kochi Shield area. So I derived the evolution or how moon got such volcano on its surface or the largest shield volcano uh, in this area was my major finding that we will see further. This work was published in this paper, Compositional Mapping and the Evolutionary History of Mare Tranquillitatis. You can check it out on Journal of Earth System Science. These are the recent volcanic feature that I said, irregular mare patches. See, in the right part, there are high albedo, irregular shape feature present. These are this has been formed nearly one within the 1 million year period on the moon. So these are the most recent feature present on the moon. And my study found that Mare Tranquillitatis comprises more than 50% of such features. That indicates that area has been stayed active or volcanically active up to the recent time, and also compared to all the other area of the near side region. This work has been published in LPAC conference, and you can check it out if you want to go in more detail. This is another topographic map or structural or combination of structural map that shows variation topographic variations in this area. See, the left part is very shows a negative relief, like it shows -2 negative relief, 2 kilometer negative relief, and right part is volcano, so it is showing very positive relief. So the area shows around 400 kilometer difference within the same region, and it is very fascinating or something new to found on a mare in a mare region. So I mapped some of the wrinkle ridges within the area that are that is marked with black lines. Then domes are marked with red and yellowish round. I found 61 new domes in this area, and that shows that this volcano was more active in the afterward of its formation also. And here the red and pinkish lines in this circle shows fault and sinus relay in this area. uh, this is some of the gravity geometric map I derived or marked on grail data sets, which shows gravity anomaly map. And that shows like how, like, see, on earth it is common to found any kind of volcano because we have plate tectonics, and plates when plates two plates collided with each other, so one plate goes down beneath the surface up to the mantle, and it creates a pressure beneath the another plate while melting, keep on melting down within it, within the lava. So the pressure got on the other plate create some cracks from beneath, and keep on doing it, and then lava comes out one by one in the form of different episodes, and it makes some shield volcano or island we see on the earth. But moon doesn't have such plate tectonics, it's a completely one plate planetary body. So how such kind of pressure would have been formed to make a volcano on it? So I found a good observation in this map, where I saw like it is making a unique geometric pattern, triangular geometric pattern made by all other major five basins: Mare Imbrium, Mare Serenitatis, Mare Crisium, Mare Smythe, and Mare Nectaris. These regions makes up when major impactor got impacted, so it created a pressure relief zone beneath this Cauchy Shield volcano, and the material beneath that central point got melted and came out with the time and made a volcano. If you want to read this whole story in a very short form, then you can see check out this conference paper in LPSC 2021. This is a Tycho crater. This is also very interesting and recent complex and central peak crater, changing the shows diameter up to 85 kilometer, and it is a Copernican age, I mean recent crater. So we mapped central peak of it, and the new thing we did in this work is we generated a high resolution fusion image using two data sets. and we found that here are some impact melt flow and mafic mineral flows shows with two different color, like yellow and uh, light purple color. So this work is also published in LPAC, and this work is I did with my sir, and his major work is here, Dr. Prakash Chauhan sir work. This is another interesting crater that I mapped. Why it is interesting? Because it is lying on a d- unique location on a highland and mare boundary region. So this crater excavates material from both the region, highland and mare region. It is a simple bowl-shaped crater originated in a recent Copernican period and 18.4 kilometer diameter. This is the mineralogical map I generated, and these are some reflectance spectra that I derived using the hyperspectral data. So it shows mineralogical good minerals present in this area like Fs spinel, and also the yellowish part shows basaltic pyroxene material present within the surface or crater wall, and bluish part shows highland material in like flow from upper or lower part of the rim to the central part of the crater. So you can see here these are black arrow shows debris flow that uh, that came inside the crater, and it is presented here in the blue color. So it was highland material that was excavated while the crater was formed, and afterwards some tectonic um, activity may have occurred inside or outside the area that may lead to the debris or that debris material present on the rim to come inside the crater through its wall. And right side also shows a model. This is a topographic model I tried to generate in a 3D form. So you can see the elevation difference, and also you can see some structures present. So this crater shows uh, on its floor the A is showing major boulders present within the crater and cooling cracks in the marked yellow square. Then B is showing debris flow that the rust out within the crater wall, from crater wall to the central part of the crater. Then E is showing central mound or hummocky crater floor. Then D is showing melting fronts on the crater wall. And C is showing albedo difference as well as mineralogical difference. This work was presented in APSC DPS joint meeting at Switzerland in 2019. Another work is my another work is also presented in LPSC, which shows a comparative spectral analysis approach, a study of lunar mineralogy using hyperspectral data from Chandrayaan 1 mission. This was the conference I attended. I presented here the DNOCS work uh, here, and my work was recognized by international business magazine Business Aura and Gujarati newspaper Dainik Bhaskar. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for an excellent overview on lunar science. And now we do have some questions for you. So, the very first question is, you talked about the various geological time frames or the time periods on moon. So, how are they decided? How are the time periods decided?
Actually, there are two methods or various methods that we use on Earth to decide the geological time period of Earth. There is some radiometric dating of the rock is done, like carbon dating, and there are some other dating also. Based on that, we decide that how the rock is older in age, right? So you know the radioactivity, right? So the all of the such dating gives a very good data or a concrete data that we can rely on completely. And such kind of material also present on the moon also, and where it is present on which layer, that also very important. uh, so that is the one method. Another method we use on the moon is because it have a very good um, cratering record present on its surface. So how crater uh, bombardment or formation of the crater was very huge in the initial time period when the bombardment started around 4.1 billion years ago. Then it got seized with the time. So the moon has recorded all of this cratering formation process because it doesn't have atmosphere, and it doesn't shows much weathering done by water as on earth. So we usually date the moon on this another method using this crater analysis process. If the crater is larger and size in particular area, then area might be very older. And if the crater are smaller with in the area, then it is comparatively younger. And the density of the crater is also important in this analysis.
Thank you for answering that question. Another question I have is it true that the core of the moon is accessible in the lowlands, as in, like the crust of the moon is very thin as compared to crust of the earth?
I'm not getting what you are asking.
Like the crust of the moon, is it
Hmm.
very thin as compared to the crust of the earth? Like,
Yeah, it is. Earth's crust is around also 35 to 50 kilometer variation on Earth, and Moon also shows good variation. But Moon is very smaller in size compared to Earth.
right. Yeah. Next question we have is, you also talked about the lava tubes. So, can you tell us how exactly they are formed?
Yeah, as I explained already, lava comes in a form of episodes. So if there is some kind of pressure and molten material present beneath the surface, then the it comes out through weaker zone or already created fracture, or it may also create some fractures from beneath the crust if it has a very good pressure present over there, or a very high temperature and pressure condition is in that mental part or lower crust part. Then it will came out very quietly on the surface. Volcanic formation occurs on, like, it also occurs in a explosive form, and other also done in a very calm uh, uh, movement. So the lava tube usually gets formed with this kind of very slow movements. And what happens when the lava one of the lava episodes come of on the surface and it start flowing on the surface, then due to temperature difference or the exposure to the outer airy surface, the upper layer got cooled down, right? So it gets solidified, and the beneath part which is continuously flowing, and it will flow out further also, and then it will cool down at particular um, place where there is not much volume present of lava now, so it will get extinct over there. So what happens, the lava flowed was what was inside will will have uh, moved over, and the remaining outer layer would be as it is, so it will form like a tube or cave like structure. You getting it now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes. The next question is, ilmenite is a very valuable resource on moon. So,
Hmm.
can you tell us more about it? Like, why is it important and how it is formed?
Okay, yeah, I think ilmenite is in the basaltic region or black patches. Ilmenite is present in very good amount, and on Earth it isn't found like that. So it has many good utilities. So that's why. And on the moon also ilmenite in a very good amount, because uh, on the basis of uh, titanium or ilmenite, the basaltic region has been discriminated, or the basalts has been discriminated based on its titanium content. So it's important there.
The next question for you is how does a geologist contribute while selecting a landing site for any mission?
Okay, that is actually geologists are the key person for this task, because they know like how the region. They have very good knowledge about the basics of how the area gets formed, or what is its present condition, or what are the composition present in it, what are the structure present in it. So based on that, uh, geologist decides that which area is more important to have a landing mission.
Um, Another question is now that NASA is going back to moon, the Artemis missions. So, if you were given a chance, what geological experiment would you like to do on moon?
Do on,
Moon.
sorry, what I would like to do on.
Any geological experiment, if given a chance, you would like to do on moon.
Okay. um I would like to explore some of my favorite areas that I have already worked on, because see, when we do remote sensing work and samples have been collected with very limited region up to the time. So when we do remote sensing, we do have that thing that if we get sample from this area, then we would have answered this question very strongly or confidently. So there are many scientific such questions in my mind, so I would explore that region if I would be given a chance.
That's exciting. Last question we have for you is what advice would you like to give to younger people who are trying to pursue a career in planetary science?
First of all, this is really being a geologist. This is very fascinating area to work on. I was fond of to work on this since I know what is geology in my college time or in my early career stage. So that was in my mind, like how the solar system it formed, how the universe has formed, what are the celestial neighbor do have structures within it like earth. As I knowing the earth, I started curiosity to get into know about the other planets or our nearest neighbors. So it brought me to this field, and luckily, with the time and with the help of my mentors and all my elders, blessings of them, I had a very good opportunity to work on this. But I would say like this is a field uh, which will give us many answers about about ourselves, about humanity, about science. So I would say if you have interest in this field, then just go for it, because India and all over world also, they are doing very good work, and we need more and more youngsters and enthusiastic or passionate people in this field. So who are youngsters and just finishing their masters or bachelors and all the basics degree. I would say that if you have interest, then must come in this field, because it requires you, and young minds will is capable to answer so many things. So I encouraged him to pursue this field.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for answering all the questions. And with this, I guess we have already exceeded the time. First question in the chat box. You can, I mean, if you can answer it. The question is, I mean, the blackout zones on Moon where the communication doesn't happen quite good. So, do you know how the spacecrafts communicate from that part to Earth?
No, I'm sorry, I do not have idea about it.
Sorry, Georgiana, but maybe I'll find an answer for you and share it with you later on. And some of them are asking for your LinkedIn ID and email. So if not LinkedIn ID, you can share them in the chat box, or I can forward it to the participants. Would you be like okay with that?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So once again, thank you, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time and such a wonderful
One more
presentation.
thing, one more thing
Mhm.
that you asked, that why geologist is important to decide a landing site. See,
Yes.
there are planetary science is exploration of planetary sciences has been done since last 50 or 60 decades. So there are many answers that we have already find, and there are many much more that we still need to find. So sequence by sequence, when we come across some results, we get to know that you there are still so much thing is remaining to find. So that clues are being decided by the researcher or scientist or geologist, who knows that if we go into this area, then we most probably get the answer that we want to get. So that's why they are important.
Thank you for that additional point, ma'am. So I
Yeah.
guess there are no further questions from the participants, and I have also asked all my questions. So with this, we can end this webinar. And AstroCapsule team once again thanks you for giving your time and such a wonderful presentation. Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you so much.